Hey everyone, so apologies for the delay on the Halloween Cup video. My Wi-Fi was out for a couple days last week due to a storm, so this video is a little bit late, so it's more of a recap, but also if you still want to do your last few sets with this team, feel free to. Prior to Halloween Cup, I was about 150 points or so from rank 10, and in 2 days of Halloween Cup, I was actually able to hit rank 10 and also reach the top 33 in the world on the leaderboard. The team I used was Qwilfish with Crustle and Shadow Tyranitar. The key thing for Shadow Tyranitar is you do need Smackdown on it, which is a community day move, so if you don't have it already, then you are going to have to use Elite Fast TM on it. You don't really need both moves on it, so if you have Frustration on it, I would run Crunch as the other charge move option, but there are definitely times where Smackdown comes in handy, such as the Azumarill matchup. Personally, I don't recommend using regular Tyranitar over Shadow Tyranitar. I think a better substitute would be Zweilous, just because regular Tyranitar just doesn't hit nearly as hard, and because Tyranitar is already glassy, it'll just make regular Tyranitar a little bit hard to use without outputting the same amount of damage. Zweilous, on the other hand, doesn't hit nearly as hard, but has a little bit more bulk, so it feels a little bit more balanced as a substitute. So, getting into the footage, the main strategy around this team is that you want to save both shields, or at least save one shield for Tyranitar on the back. A lot of situations you actually end up losing switch advantage. So in this first situation, this is one of the few situations where you stay in. I just go straight Sludge Wave here. Even if they shield, it's not a big deal. Just keep powering through. And the Azumarill will take you out, but then you have Crustle on the back that is taking neutral from Ice Beam. And so it's going to be an okay matchup. Even though it's taking super effective from water right here, Crustle is pretty bulky. And the Smackdowns and all the Rock Slides are doing neutral to Azumarill. So it's definitely going to help out the matchup here. So even though I'm down pretty much half a Pokemon at this point, I'm pretty much just relying on Tyranitar on the back to really help clean out the victory. And so seeing that they brought Mana Buzz in is actually pretty good news, because this means that they're probably weak to Rock in the back. Along with this Mana Buzz. Mana Buzz is already not great against Shadow Tyranitar, and so this puts me in a very good spot. And let's see what it is. It's a Galvantula. So go straight Smackdown, take it out in one shot. Usually if they have a Azumarill in the lead, that's their main anti-rock Pokemon. So even if you lose that matchup, as long as you take out the Azumarill eventually, it usually spells out pretty well for your team. So in this situation, my opponent actually swaps out. And they swap into the Umbreon. So in this situation, you resist all of Umbreon's charge moves, but Shadow Tyranitar can't really take too many charge moves, so I am just going to go straight Stone Edge right here to try to take it out. But they end up shielding, so that's not great. And what I'm going to do right here is I end up getting the Crunch at the same time, or just like one move right behind, I guess. And this is going to do a decent amount of damage. They double shield, and then they try to farm me down, but the Smackdowns just do too much. So being up a shield and still having Crustle in the back, and Qwilfish is great, because Qwilfish now can go straight Sludge Wave, and it's going to nearly one-shot Azumarill here. It's not enough to completely one-shot it, but that's okay. I'm going to let this go, and then I come in with my Crustle in the back, and that's going to be GG's. So this is a pretty common team that you'll see as another water lead is Tentacruel with pretty much the same backline. I saw this is on day 1 of Halloween Cup, but I saw this quite a bit already. I think some content creators created it. In my opinion, it's the inferior version of this team, just because you do lose to Qwilfish, and then I do shield there just in case of the Hydro Pump, but they bring in their Tyranitar, and then they pretty much have to shield these X-Scissors, or else they pretty much get taken out, because it's super effective and Shadow Tyranitar is pretty glassy. So at this point, I'm going to probably come in with my Crustle, or sorry, a Qwilfish, and then I have Aqua Tail charged up, and then take it out. And the big thing here is Tentacruel really can't threaten any of these rocks with his fast moves, and so it needs to land a Hydro Pump to even stand a chance, and it just takes way too long to get a Hydro Pump. And then here comes their Crustle. I take it out with one Stone Edge. So obviously their Stone Edge is definitely better, but if you have Crunch Edge, you'll still win that matchup too. Alright, what do you do in the Qwilfish mirror? So something I noticed is that almost every Qwilfish mirror I see is weak to the backline of Crustle and Tyranitar. So I don't mind just staying in here. Unless they're running a mirror line, they're usually weaker. Unless they, for some reason, have like Crustle on a grass, which sometimes happens. So I'm just going to stay even with my opponent right here, and just as long as I take out Qwilfish, that's the biggest threat to both Tyranitar and Crustle on the back. I've only seen one weird line where it was like Qwilfish lead and Azumarill in the back. It was my friend that's playing it. I wasn't even playing that matchup. But so that's kind of a weird line and definitely going to be a loss if you see that. But it's usually uncommon to see two waters in the same line with one in the lead and one in the back. It's kind of a very unbalanced line, especially if they run to like a grass lead. All right, so against Wormadam is actually pretty good because yeah, so and they're weak to rock in the back, of course, right here. Wormadam, you're resisting all the confusions because of the dark typing, so you just have to worry about the Iron Heads, and as long as you shield, you're fine. And then my opponent does go straight for the Shadow Ball right there. I'm going to throw the Crunch. T-Tar does survive a Bone Club at that range, but, you know, no need to fast move down. We can just throw Charge Move. All right, Qwilfish lead. Or sorry, Shiftry lead. Shiftry is kind of not as bad as you think, just because it's super weak to Exeter. Both Grass and Dark is weak to it, so Exeter will probably near one-shot it. And then both T-Tar and Crustle, well, Crustle's only taking neutral from the Snarls, same with Qwilfish, and then T-Tar's taking resisted. So essentially what you need to do is muscle through with T-Tar, and I'm going to throw this Aqua Tail to soften up this Shiftry. They actually shield, so that's pretty nice. I have to shield this Leaf Blade anyway, so it doesn't really matter if I stack it or not. And then here comes the Alolan Marowak. This is going to be pretty good, so I'm going to let this go. As I said before, you do survive the Bone Club, and then the fire damage is resisted. And then right here, I throw the Crunch, and they don't they shield that one, but at this point, I'm just going to let the Leaf Blade go through and then just go for Aqua Tail right here. I guess I alternatively could just shield it and try to smack down further, but I'd rather get to the Charge Move on the Qwilfish just to be safe. Alright, Mawile lead, very good for this team, especially if it's Fire Fang, which is almost what all Mawiles run in this meta. Bite is a little different of a story, but I haven't really seen one at all. Alright, so they come in with Alolan Muk. You resist all these moves as well, so you don't need to shield the first one, but you definitely need to shield the second one, and now have a bunch of energy. So Mawile is not going to appreciate any of these charge moves, even though they're resisted. My opponent actually brings in Azumarill instead, so I go for the Crunch bait. Unfortunately, I couldn't get to Stone Edge, so maybe I should just go on Stone Edge anyway. And then even though Azumarill is a counter to Crustle, I'd rather have this matchup because Qwilfish is so good against Azumarill in the back. Or sorry, against Mawile, that you want that lined up. And so my opponent actually does a great sack right there. But what this means is now I could just go straight Water Gun down and farm up a bunch of energy against this Mawile for the Azumarill. So I'm going to bait with the Aqua Tail. If it lands, it lands. And it doesn't get a shield, but it does grab a shield. And so now I'm going to go straight Sludge Wave. And this is Ice Beam or Play Rough, I'll survive. Hydro Pump's the only thing that will really threaten it at that range. And yeah, able to clean up from there. Alright, so Sableye does beat Qwilfish in all shield situations, even shield situations, although it's a little bit close if I invest the extra shield. However, Sableye, I really want to match up with my T-Tar right here, because you're resisting all the charge moves, except for Power Gem, but I don't, most might not be running Power Gem. Actually, that opponent might be, because I don't think it's a return Sableye. Alright, so they actually do a great catch with their Azumarill, and this is fine because I don't mind getting the Azumarill out of the way early. That's pretty much what the whole goal of having Crustle is to lure out the water types. And then so from here, I just go double Aqua Tail just in case they shield. They don't shield, which is fine, and then I'm going to come in with my T-Tar to get a slight energy advantage right here. This would be pretty good for anything in the back. And they come in with Sableye. Anytime you see this, this means that they are probably very weak to Tyranitar on the back, because Sableye rate loses the matchup against T-Tar. And then, yep, as predicted, it is a bug type. Just go straight Smackdown at this point. Shield the X-Scissors or the Drill Runs, and then just Smackdown all the way down. So you really don't often need two shields for T-Tar. In that situation, it worked out. But a lot of times, because T-Tar is so glassy, having more than one shield is usually a waste because there's not a lot of times for you to use both. In that situation, it did work out pretty well though. So Haunter, similar to Sableye, another Ghost Pokemon, you want that matchup against T-Tar, and you are going to resist all of Haunter's moves here, so it's definitely better to be in that spot. And then again, draw the Azumarill, and then just tank the moves. I'll probably throw Aqua Tail shortly after this. Yep, and go for the Aqua Tail right here. And I do have another Aqua Tail ready. I just go in and snipe down the Azumarill with my T-Tar. so I can save the energy on my Azumarill. Oh, sorry, on my Qwilfish. So we actually do see another situation where I have 2 shields for my T-Char. And in this situation, again, it kind of makes sense because you have to face 2 Pokemon right here. So I'm going to tank the second Dark Pulse. I do survive it. And then I have my 2 crunches built up. So this is pretty good because I know Qwilfish has another charge move as well. So I can throw that right after I throw these and when shields are down. And so I go for that, but unfortunately I get Shadow Claw down, so I wasn't able to. So this was kind of a risky game, but I was able to still edge out my opponent right there. Alright, Crustle lead, very good for Qwilfish. Of course, you are taking neutral damage from the Smackdowns and Rock Slides, so it's not the easiest win, but it's still a win if they aren't shielding for sure. Okay, so they bring in their own Qwilfish right here, and this is fine. You just stay in right here because T-Tar is great against Crustle, and then you always have the mirror in the back. I have a little bit of damage on me, but I do have an energy advantage, so I should get to this next Aqua Tail before my opponent does. Somehow my opponent gets their 3rd Aqua Tail way before me, even though they swapped in, and you can see I'm like maybe I don't know 5-6 water guns away. Very strange. Either way, I'm just going to just make the most of it. Don't know what happened there. I might have desynced or lagged a bit. But so my opponent right here is going to come in with their Wormadam, and this is going to one-shot me with the Iron Head. But that's fine because now I have a slight energy lead with my T-Tar, and they don't have another Iron Head ready. So this is going to be really good because the Qwilfish is low on health. As you can see, 1 Smackdown away, and then this Crustle is probably close to in range for Crunch. Yeah. So if I didn't get the extra energy lead, the Crustle probably would have gotten to Exeter before I get to the Crunch, and so that would definitely be bad. Alright, so against bug leads, especially like Beedrill or Galvantula, you want to swap straight to Crustle and then have T-Tar match up in the back. Again, Crustle as a safe swap is usually preferable because it can threaten Azumarill if you do shield. So that's actually what I do right here. I threaten the Azumarill, and the whole point here is I don't plan on winning this matchup. What I want to do is grab their shield as well, and then now this puts the Azumarill in water gun range. I don't have to worry about any threats of charge moves right there, and then now I have a very, very healthy Qwilfish. So I'm going to let this move go, seeing that they have return as well. T-Tar is going to resist all of these moves. So I'm going to throw the Crunch right there, and then I think I do shield this because I know I'll survive the Shadow Claws, and I'm 1 Smackdown away on Crunch, but smart decision by my opponent to throw the move right here, but I do have the Aqua Tail still banked on my Qwilfish, and still nearly at full health too, so I can take out the Beedrill from there. Alolan Muk, so against Dark Poisons, Qwilfish actually beats pretty much all Dark Poisons in all even shields, but might as well bring in the Crustle instead because you do have a better matchup with T-Tar. And again, you want to draw the Azumarill, so it seems like we're kind of on like Groundhog Day or whatever, where it's constantly repeating with Azumarill counter swaps, but that's pretty much how it is. You know, a lot of teams are pretty predictable, and you draw out their main rock counter right there. Great undercharge by my opponent right there, which got them some extra energy to throw out my Qwilfish. But once you draw it out, you'll be in a good spot. And again, my opponent is not swapping out here, which is good news. I do shield this just in case they have like, I don't know, like a fighter or something in the back, and they're just trying to, I don't want to lose with both shields, right? So they bring in the Alolan Marowak at this point. I just tank this Dark Pulse, I know I survive it, and then yeah, you can just smack down all the way through for this. Wigglytuff or Charm leads, how do you deal with it? Qwilfish is great for that. Obviously Charm is very strong for the back line, so you definitely have to watch out for that. But in the lead, it's perfect for this team. They bring in Umbreon, and again, like we saw earlier in this video, the Umbreon matchup is a little bit close, to be honest. I actually go straight for Crunch, hoping to get a bait, and let's see if it happens or not. It doesn't bait, so that's no good. But I'm going to shield at this point because I really don't want this Wigglytuff matchup against my Crustle. So I'm going to just grab this, take out this Umbreon. I don't mind going down a shield because the Umbreon can't, the Wigglytuff can't really force any shields. And then I am going to tank this charge move because I know I survive this charge and what do you call it? Lunge, sorry, I was blanking on the move name. But I was able to grab that second shield, the first shield, and then now have back-to-back Aqua Tails, and this should be able to force out the last shield from Wigglytuff. And the thing with Wigglytuff is that it's not going to be able to charge any moves very quickly, so it's very easy to just outpace it, even if you're down a shield. So that's one of my last matches before hitting rank 10. I'll show you a clip of my patrons only stream where I actually did hit rank 10. This is a battle in real time, so you kind of hear my thought process behind the matchup. I think I was at like 2985 maybe at the end of Ultra League. I had one set to go, and then I went like 0-5 in that last set. And then I started going Lugia, which is fine. Oh, okay, I like this. All right, hopefully this is Tentacruel with Double Rock. That's a very popular line that I think Wholesome popularized. I don't think this is Hydro Pump, right? They almost never throw a Hydro Pump here. Yep. Again, I suck at counting. I probably should learn the counts for a Hydro Pump at least. Nice, yeah. This looks pretty promising. They have the shoot there, yep. Alright, let's see here. Come on, Quill. I have to shield this. Probably gonna be Rock Slide. So this is actually kind of interesting. Oh, X-Scissor. It doesn't matter because I get to this Aqua Tail, so I guess it's the difference between me farming down versus not farming down. I guess they have T-Tron on the back. Oh, what the heck? Are they that afraid of the I'm just coming with T-Tar right now. Get an energy advantage here. The thing is, if they have their own T-Tar, I want that energy advantage. But that Tentacruel is going to be a little bit of a problem. Because it's... Let's see. Yep, T-Tar. Okay, this is actually... Oh, wait. This is perfect. Oh, wait. Unless they're trying to farm me down here. Oh, that might have been actually a really good play by them. Oh, nice. Oh, very smart, very smart. Very smart play. But the thing is, do they survive? Yeah, they don't. Nice. And there we go. Nice. Fantastic. So, after hitting rank 10, here are some other matchups that you might see. Just want to see how the meta changed later on down the road. And again, a Wigglytuff lead, not a big deal. But a little spoiler for this matchup is it's actually a double charm team. So they have a charmer in the back, which is definitely very strong against my team because I pretty much only have one counter to charm on my team. So I'm going to finish it off with Qwilfish, get the switch advantage. They come in with Wormadam. This is not good because it is almost able to take out my... yeah, it does take out my Qwilfish. And then I bring in my T-Tar. They bring in their Clefable right here. So this is not too bad. What I'm going to do is bait with the X-Scissors because I know they really want to keep this Clefable alive. And I actually just let this Crustle go. And because of that, I have a shield for the Iron Head. That does a ton of damage with the Charm, as you can see, against my T-Tar. But the thing is, these Confusions won't do much to Tyranitar, and I was able to take it out still. Another newer Charmer is Whimsicott. Obviously, if they're running Razor Leaf, it's a different story, but almost every Whimsicott user is running Charm in this meta, because if you're going to run Razor Leaf, you might as well run like Shadow Victreebel or something. So I do bait with the Aqua Tail right there. I usually just go straight Aqua Tail just because getting the Sludge Wave shield is kind of unfortunate. And then my opponent here goes straight Sludge Wave with their T-Tar, and this gives me a chance to maintain my shields. I don't really want any health left for this T-Tar for the Whimsicott to farm off of me. So as you can see, even the Smackdown and Crunch does quite a bit of damage, even though the Crunch is resisted. And I do have an Aqua Tail ready, so I'm going to just spam it right away against the Whimsicott. And then they come in with Haunter. So Whimsicott with double Ghost in the back. Pretty solid line, I think, but unfortunately for team compositions against my line, it's not the greatest. And I'm going to go straight Smackdown right here, just because they still have shield, so no need to throw it there. Alright, Wormadam, another matchup that I didn't really see until after hitting rank 10. You go straight Crustle right here. They actually bring in their Zweilous. Zweilous is actually a huge problem for this team that I didn't see previous to rank 10. But something I noticed later on. The thing is, your most reliable counter is Crustle, and even then it's kind of a tough matchup because the Dragon Breath damage just does a ton. And then so, unfortunately, they get one of my shields right there, but I know I survived the second Body Slam, so I'm going to just let that go and take out the Zweilous. Zweilous does beat T-Tar with shields because it just powers through with just Dragon Breath, and then it also resists Qwilfish's Water Gun damage, so it does really good against Qwilfish. So anytime you could match up Crustle with it, it's a good time. Alright, so I'm going to throw the Crunch. I know that this Wormadam, if they shield, can get to Iron Head before I reach my next charge move, so I actually swap in my Qwilfish to sack it and tank the Iron Head. Iron Head is going to be resisted, so I'm just going to take all this super effective confusion damage and just try to power through with Water Gun. And then this is pretty good too because my Qwilfish can outpace the Golbat to Aqua Tails and then still beats the Golbat right there. Okay. Another Wormadam matchup. You want to switch straight away to Crustle right here, just because it looks like my opponent actually beats me to the Iron Head. I think it's a little bit slower to switch. If you're a little bit quicker on the switch, you can get to Rock Slide, but I personally wasn't. All right, so against Muk, T-Tar's not too bad, although the Thunder Punches are doing neutral damage, whereas Alolan Muk is a little different. I think I overfarmed here, unfortunately, so I'm going to have to double shield, which is not great. Let's see what my opponent has in the back. So I figured they're probably not great against T-Tar if they had to bring in Muk into it. It looks like they have their own T-Tar, so that's fine. I'm going to throw 2 Crunches right here, and then probably go straight to my Qwilfish. Yeah, and so they actually counter swap me with their Wormadam, and I think my only win condition at this point is tank the charge moves, Water Gun down even though taking super effective confusion damage, and throw 2 back-to-back Aqua Tails. So let's see if we can do it. We do have both, but if they sneak a fast move through, I'm done for. But they don't, and then able to get both Aqua Tails off. So definitely a very close match, yeah, able to win out on that one. And then against Skuntank, of course, like I said, Qwilfish does beat Skuntank, but I want to draw out their water. So I do draw out their Qwilfish right here. And then I think I bait with the X-Scissor. I was going for Rock Slide, but because I lost the race to the charge move, I'm going to go straight X-Scissor because if they shield, I can go double X-Scissor right here. And was able to, and then my opponent actually throws their charge move right here, which is perfect because now I could just Water Gun down their Qwilfish. And they're probably going to come in with Skuntank, I assume, and then and now I'm going to bring in probably my T-Tar to just absorb any charge move. Although the charge moves are resisted, so I'm not too worried. And then because these poison jabs are resisted, I don't mind just tanking the charge move because I know the fast moves won't take me out. I do shield the second one because at this point, again, it's similar to before. Like if they're staying in with Skuntank, which is not a great matchup, they're probably weak to it in the back. Weak to T-Tar in the back. I go for the bait right there. It doesn't land. I probably should have just gone straight Smackdown. But so now I need to build up to 2 Aqua Tails, but Mandibuzz is a very bulky Pokemon, which means that it doesn't hit nearly as hard. And so I can actually just tank the charge move and then go straight back-to-back Aqua Tails. Okay, so Fighters. Fighters are definitely an issue for this team. This is a big reason why I prefer Qwilfish over Tentacruel. Specifically, the Toxicroak matchup. Toxicroak just obliterates Tentacruel as well as T-Tar, so you pretty much lose if they run a Toxicroak in the lead. But whereas with Qwilfish, you actually have play against it, and my opponent actually doesn't shield there. But if they double shielded, what I do in that situation is try to catch the last Mud Bomb on my Crustle because it's neutral, and then I'll still have close to probably a half health Qwilfish at that point. And then, of course, my opponent right here is very weak to Crustle in the back. So they come in with Alolan Marowak. Alolan Marowak is also a Pokemon that you don't really need to worry about. So I come in and throw the Aqua Tail because all 3 of my Pokemon actually beat Alolan Marowak. So usually if they run Alolan Marowak, it's pretty easy to beat that team. I do let the Dark Pulse go just because I know that I have my T-Tar left, and then I'm just going to shield. I'll survive pretty much anything here. I think even a Gunk Shot, I'm actually not too sure about that one, but just got to shield just in case. Alright, Scrafty, pretty good because they need to land the Foul Play and to really hurt the Qwilfish, so you just gotta count up the moves to make sure they're not getting to the Foul Play. I do shield because this looks like it could be a Foul Play, and most do go straight Foul Play here. And then I'm going to get to the second Aqua Tail before, yeah, so they're going to have to throw their move. I actually bring in Crustle just to draw out any waters they may have in the back. At that point, they were within Smackdown range. So they do have a water in the back, but it ends up being Tentacruel, which is perfect. Because in this situation, my T-Tar does pretty well against it, and so I'm just going to tank this move. It's probably going to be Acid Spray, yeah. That's really good too, because I could just do some extra chip damage against the Tentacruel. And then Qwilfish is a decent matchup here too, especially with the shield up. So what I'm actually going to do right here is just tank the Hydro Pump. They have to throw a Hydro Pump to take me out here, so I know they need to expend all their energy. Now I have a T-Tar with a shield advantage, and yeah, against a bug, this is definitely going to be GG's right here. Straight Smackdown, throw a Crunch, and yeah, that'll be game. So yeah, against Fire Leaves, you just gotta stay in, and if they have an Umbreon, a Azumarill on the back, it'll be a little bit harder to deal with because you have pretty much 2 counters to your back line. But yeah, that's why I swapped to Crustle on the end right there. All right, so Obstagoon lead. Similar to Scrafty, you have to just worry about the dark move right here. So my opponent does go straight double Night Slashes right there. Kind of interesting. I would prefer, if I was the Obstagoon user, just go straight Night Slash in case you get the boost off the first one. But again, same thing. I sack. That way I don't have to worry about shielding my my Qwilfish right there to win switch. I'm just going to lose switch on purpose and tank their charge move. And then they come in with Haunter. This is pretty good because T-Tar does pretty well here. And so I'm going to come in probably T-Tar, just because I don't really want to have to, yeah. So they come in with Beedrill, which I'm not really sure what the play is here. I guess they didn't want to farm, but at this point, yeah, it's kind of over, yeah. So another reason why I like Qwilfish over Tentacruel is this matchup. If you go into Golurk with either with Tentacruel and double Rock in the back, the Golurk pretty much could beat the whole team. So my opponent actually does a great swap right here. I've never seen a Confusion Butterfree until now, or actually Butterfree and GBL in general. But yeah, it ends up working pretty well. I do shield here just because I know I'm at the crunch, so I might as well force a shield from my opponent or win switch. But they shield as well, but even resisted Smackdowns from Shadow Tyranitar hits pretty hard. Alright, so Tentacruel, not a big deal. Again, they need to land the Hydro Pump right here, so I'm going to count the moves. I do go for the bait right here, and they do shield, just because this is their last Pokemon left in Rock Slide, would take them out. And they do go straight for the Hydro Pump, and that's pretty much GG's. Alright, what do you do against Shadow Victreebels, Razor Leaf, or stuff like that? Honestly, it's not too much play. I'll be honest. Like, you know, there's things that beat every line, and this is the biggest weakness. I just have a very hard time beating it. You could swap out some. So the big thing is there's ways to swap out. Usually Qwilfish is pretty good against the back line, but it's tough because if you swap out a T-Tar, they get Razor Leaf down in like 3 Razor Leaves, and then if you go to Crustle, they can bring a counter right there, or still dies to a certain amount of Razor Leaves. Crustle is pretty much your best matchup against Victreebel. Even then, it's a losing matchup. So taking out Victreebel is not the hardest. It's just that you're down so much at this point that there's just nothing you can do, right? Like, look at this, like 2 shield Mawile against a less than half health Crustle. There's nothing you can do. So if you do run into a lot of Shadow Victreebels, I recommend swapping in maybe Zweilous for T-Tar instead. See how that plays out, because that way you have something that actually beats grass in the back, and Crustle can be your safe swap there. But yeah, for the most part, I've run into a decent amount of Razor Leafers, but just not enough for me to constantly justify not running the line. I still end up winning the majority because they are not Razor Leafers. Alright, so I build up to 2 Aqua Tails right here. See if my opponent shields. Alolan Marowak is actually, again, really good for this team because all 3 Pokemon beat it. I think I accidentally switch locked myself here, which is not great. Probably not a great play. I do shield the first charge move. I'm going to let the second one go. They throw a Sludge Bomb for some reason. Maybe it does do more damage than my bomb. I don't know. It is resisted, but with stab, it might be doing a little bit more. Alright, so this is not too great because Azumarill does check T-Tar, but that Smackdown just hits so hard for neutral. So I'm pretty much just going to try to farm it down with Smackdowns and throw a Crunch. My opponent actually, I think they're trying to catch a Crunch on this, but unfortunately they weren't able to, and now I have the Smackdown, take out the Azumarill right there. Landing a Crunch right there probably wouldn't take it out, so another reason why if you have Smackdown and Crunch available, I would just double move it rather than keep it single moved. Alright, against Zweilous lead, this is actually really tough. Zweilous, again, I said beats T-Tar and Qwilfish, so I actually bring in T-Tar because my best counter is Crustle, so if they stay in, then I can match up Crustle with it, or if they swap out, I can match up Crustle later with it. The main issue, though, with Zweilous leads is that a lot of times their backline actually checks this line really well. So right here, you have Azumarill, so you have to deal with both Zweilous and Azumarill, which both are threats to this entire team. Or big threats to 2 out of 3 of the team. So I should go for a bait right there. It doesn't quite work out. That's fine. I'm just going to get some extra energy on the Crustle because I definitely need the extra energy. Let's see what they have in the back. So they come in with their Zweilous again. I pretty much have to shield everything here, even though it's resisted, just because the Dragon Breath damage just does a ton. So I go straight for the Rock Slide right here. Either get a shield or I don't. Yeah, as you can see, I was unfortunately just a little too far away on the double X scissor. Thank you to the PvP community for supporting my road to hitting rank 10, and big thank you to all my patrons who were there to watch it happen. If you'd like early access to some of my strategies and lineups, sign up to the Meta Breaker tier and above. And even if you're not a patron, everyone is welcome into my Discord channel as well, so feel free to check out the link down below. Thank you all for watching. If you like this video, feel free to give it a like and share, subscribe for future content, hit that notification bell if you want to get alerted right when I post a new video, and I'll see y'all later.